No, I'm not doing it anymore. I've had it. I'm not doing it anymore. It's burning my eyes. I'm fired. You're fired. You're fucking fired. I'm starting to decolor. Hey YouTube, it's Graxy. Welcome back to the channel. The current Hero Siege loot filter functions, but it lacks the depth needed for modern ARPGs. As Hero Siege continues to grow, we really need a loot filter that's easy to understand, use, and manage. In Season 8, the loot filter has finally received the rework that myself and a lot of the community has been requesting for a while now. In this video, I'm going to break down the new UI and discuss how everything works. I will also be providing filters for every class and archetype. These filters will be available on my website, in every one of my build guides, and posted in my Discord before the season launches. Hopefully, we'll be able to actually have filters transcend between the beta and live for the first time in 7 seasons, but I cannot guarantee this. I won't be making the pastebin links until a couple days before season launch to try to eliminate any issues. If you use one of my filters during the open beta, please give me feedback either in the comments below or stop by the live stream at twitch.tv/Graxy_TV. These filters are for you guys and I want to make sure to make them the best that I can. As always, hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with all Hero Siege related news, content, and build guides, and let's get started. To access the new loot filter, simply press escape. You'll see this new black pin icon. This is a loot filter shortcut. Clicking this will bring you to the loot filter homepage or the landing page. Now, there's a lot going on here, but let's start with the few settings at the bottom. First, filters can be saved to your account. Once you're happy with a filter config, click the Save Filter As button. This will open up a window to name your loot filter, then simply click Save As. This filter will now be available on any character on your account, and it's listed in this window over here to the right. If you'd like to send this filter to a friend, make sure that you've loaded the filter by clicking on it here and hitting confirm. Then we can click on export. This will copy the filter code to a clipboard where it can be pasted into text files or DM'd to people on Discord. And of course, if you're the one that received the code, simply select the whole thing, copy it, go into import. This window will pop up for you to paste your filter code in, paste that in, make sure there's no spaces at the end, click on import, and that's how you import a filter. If there were any errors in the filter, it would simply say invalid loot filter code. And don't worry if you super scuffed your loot filter, you can always hit the reset button to bring everything back to default values. As of this video, there are not preset filters provided by Panic Art Studios. I've been working with Rexy to design a few generic ones. I'd imagine that those will be located over here once they're added. So if you want a filter that isn't tailored to any specific archetype, or you just want to build one of your own from a generic base, then these will be for you. Now let's talk about how to edit your filter. For the sake of time, I'm going to assume that you already have a basic understanding of itemization in Hero Siege. The super quick TLDR is items dropped have a rarity and a tier associated to them. The higher the rarity, the more affixes the item can have on it, and the higher the tier, the better the affixes will be on the item. For more information on items, check out my Ultimate Beginner's Guide, link in the description. On the filter landing page, you can see every item type with each rarity and tier. These can be edited by clicking the box that's associated to them. You can also turn off an entire rarity for all tiers by clicking the rarity box on the left. Or turn off an entire tier by clicking the tier box at the top. Let's say we only want to see mythic helmets that are A tier or higher, and we don't want to miss out on any possible skiller or crit rune word bases, and I want to make sure that I have all the satanics turned on because I'm trying to fill out my grail of getting every item in the game. We would do that by clicking on superior and rare rarities to eliminate those rarities. We then would go for D tier on mythics, C tier, and B tier, and that's it. We're only going to see any satanic helmet, A tier or higher mythics, and any rune word base. You might be saying to yourself, well, leaving on all the common tiers will show way too many items. You'll see every common helmet that drops. Not anymore. Clicking on helmet takes us to the affix filter for helmets, where we can select the affixes and sockets visibility. So if I were to turn off every affix on this list and the socket amounts, even though we have common helmets of every tier turned on, we literally will not see a single helmet on the ground because the game checks for affixes that we have toggled here, and since we have none toggled, no items will drop. I hope that makes sense. And by the way, when I say affix tier, I'm referring to the value of an affix on an item. The higher the tier, the higher the affix roll will be. For example, A tier life on a large charm rolls from 35 to 120, while S tier rolls from 50 to 160. Wait, I actually rolled the perfect roll on this in the beta. I'm crashing out. It's Jover. Let's go back to our original statement for helmets. We want to make sure that we don't miss out on any potential skiller or rune word helmet bases. First, we'll find the different affixes for skillers and start turning them on. You can also do this by clicking on the affix name. This will turn on the entire row. Next, we'll do the same thing for crit. So we can either click here or we can click the actual name. Now I want to clean up some of these lower tiers because I don't really want to see a +1 skill. I want to see like +3 or +4. So you can either click off each of these one at a time, or you could click up here on the actual tier. This will turn the whole tier on the first click, and then turn the whole tier off on the second click. So we're going to do that for all of the tiers below A tier. And we're done. If any A tier skiller or crit affix hits on a helmet, we're going to know about it. Well, what about sockets? The game will check if an item has a specific amount of sockets and will show regardless if it has any additional affix rolls on it or not. So if you're pretty early in the game, you might want to still see a 2-socket helmet to make, Flesh Ripper or a lore into. So selecting the 2 sockets at the top here will show any 2-socketed helmet regardless if it has an affix on it or not. It could be any helmet. If it has 2 sockets, you will see it. Keep in mind that you also have to have on the actual base type tier as well. So if I were to go and turn off all of these and then go back to our helmets, we see that we have some different affixes turned on. I am not going to see helmets at all on the ground because it is going to check this first, then check for the affix. So you have to have at least one tier designated on the item's base type before it's going to check for any affixes. Later on, we're going to have to roll sockets on bases, so turning them all off won't affect you. And if you get extremely lucky on, say, a 5-skiller helmet with 3 sockets already on it, it'll still show even if all of these sockets are turned off because we have the affix turned on. So it's going to be highlighted because it has the skills on it, and it just so happened to also have sockets. So what about highlighting items? This one's super simple. Right-clicking a box will give it this yellow color instead of red. Yellow indicates the affix tier is on and will cause the item's ground label to be highlighted with a beam if populated on the item. And by the way, you can choose the highlight color finally. You can also right-click an affix name to highlight the entire row, or its tier to highlight the entire column. I swear, if I see anybody highlight the whole column, I'm going to lose my shit. Lastly, I want to go over how you'll go about importing one of my Season 8 starter filters in case the import feature is bricked. I'll be honest with you, it's probably going to be bricked. First, open up my Google Doc, the link is in the description, and determine the archetype that you're playing. They're all listed on the left here. Let's say that we're playing a caster that does cold damage. As you scroll down, you'll see that I have settings for the loot filter, as well as all of the different affixes for each item type. So you're just going to copy my settings that I have listed for each of these items. Once you get to Nightmare, I have instructions in the document that shows you how to convert your filter from a starter filter into a Nightmare filter. Very, very simple. And the same goes for the Hell filter. You're just going to be converting your Nightmare filter into a Hell filter. And of course, endgame filters, I have an entire section here that shows you how to set up an endgame filter. And that's going to wrap up this video showcasing the new filtering system. Thank you guys so much for being here and watching this video. It means a ton to me. Subscribe if you want to see more Hero Siege related news, content, and build guides, and I'll see you guys in the next video.